and welcome back to my channel, the Art Archaeologist channel, and I'm Corey. So today I want to do some grunge. I'm using Canson mixed media paper and my Sonnet Studio watercolor set and my Kuretake watercolor set. Now I might be mispronouncing that. This is what the cover looks like. I got both of them on eBay. The reason I'm using the Kuretake is because there are metallics in here and I want to have some metallics in my grunge today. So otherwise, I'm really partial to these Sonnet Studio watercolors. This is my favorite set. Okay. So I showed you all the stuff. We're going to use some salt and plastic wrap. So I'm just going to play some music and get to it. how these pages done, and as you can see, you can get some pretty neat backgrounds pretty quickly. I went ahead and left the salt on here for the most part, what didn't come off by itself, and you just want to come in and push it off. Scrape it off with your finger. Let it dry completely with the salt on and you'll get some really cool little textures. This did not texture as much as I would have liked it to. Let me show you. If I would have put it on when it was much wetter, it would have wicked out and made bigger dots of texture, okay? And then here is the cling wrap, what you get from the cling wrap. And of course you have to let this dry completely too. Usually it really doesn't take more than probably an hour or two. Well, I take that back, maybe a few hours, because you're sealing the moisture in with the cling wrap. But whenever I do cling wrap, I just set them on cookie trays and then I walk away and let them go overnight. So that's how I do it. But you can get some pretty neat, and I just did the little corner on this. You can get some pretty neat little texture out of that. Okay, let me bring you in a little closer. I went too far back. So here's that one. And then I'm going to make a video on what you can do with these backgrounds as well. First, I'm going to scan them. I like to scan my stuff whenever you're making original art that you can fit in your scanner. It's a great idea to scan the steps. That way you can keep this art and do things with it over and over again. And then you can also paint on top of the original or do, you know, a mixed media or collage out of this and then scan that as well. I'm finding that that works for me. So this one has a lot of drips and drops in it. And I really, brown and blue is one of my favorite color combinations. You know, 2 or 3 colors is really a good amount of color to get a lot of depth and texture in your work. Doesn't really take much. Hope I'm not making you dizzy with all the in, out, in, out. This one, I put salt on, but it was a little, well, it worked. Here's what you get when you have, let me show you right in here. And there's lots of videos on this. I'm sure it's nothing new to you. But these are the marks that the salt creates. So you want to get the salt on there while the paint is good and wet. And then you can have a lot of cool texture in there. Now this one I stenciled that little design in with the green watercolor, and I was probably using the wrong brush. I'm really new at stenciling with watercolor, so I wasn't all that thrilled, with my results. But this is only my first try with it, so I'm not real thrilled with this. It didn't blend very well over here, but I am thrilled with all of this over here. It really came out really beautiful and grungy and wonderful, so I can always whack that off or paint over it. You have options. This one really came out pretty neat. This was just red and orange and yellow. And you can iron your papers. I did these on mixed media paper with no texture. So you can iron these flat. That's what I always do with my coffee stain paper. And on these you just want to, I put down like a fabric tablecloth, an old fabric tablecloth, and then I would just put this face down and iron straight over it, squirt some water on the back of it. So you can get them nice and flat that way. I really like this one too. It came out so fun. It's got a lot of spots with tons of texture, like this area here, and then this area over here is much more blended, and it's almost got a distress oxide kind of look to it, and it's straight watercolor. And last but not least, So I think I'm going to scan these and do some Zentangling on them, maybe do some mandala Zentangle drawings on these. So look for that video. It will happen soon, and I'm so glad you joined me today. Thanks so much and have a great day.